Spoiler warning. This podcast will spoil elements from both the gameplay and story for Twisted Metal Black. Hello, guys, and welcome to Why We Love, the podcast where we talk about why we really like a game, a particular game or series of games. Today, we're going to be talking about Twisted Metal Black, a game that I have to say that when I played it, I didn't know what I was getting into the first time because I played the previous Twisted Metals and they were always kind of weird and maybe disturbing at some points. But Twisted Metal Black just took it to like the darkest version of that. At least at the time. Yeah. With me, have another fan of that game. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Carlo Rodriguez. Also a fan of the Twisted Metal series. Well, some of the Twisted Metal games.
Yeah.
Not all of them were.
Which one was your favorite like vehicle or character?
I seriously liked Mr. Grimm.
Okay.
I liked his using his special. It would do a lot of damage, even though it was kind of hard to target a player since you had to do it all manually. It was a skill shot, skill based attack.
Yeah, so, I couldn't play him. He was a little bit too easy. Like he didn't have that much defense, so
that's true.
You had to make sure that you wouldn't hit that much.
Yeah, that is true. I also liked his speed, so.
Yeah, that definitely.
Good handling with that.
And it was kind of hard to hit him when you were against him. So yeah. That's also
definitely. Unless you had the homing missiles.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's kind of the the cheat missiles. But I actually used my two favorite from Twisted Metal Black, of course, were Outlaw. I really liked the like his mechanic and his special, and Dark Side. Because I really like the whole meh and just ramming a car and destroying it. Yeah. But I had a special spot for Sweet Tooth, of course. And for Preacher was his name, I think.
Yeah, Preacher. I think that was his name.
I think that when I saw that character and I saw what his special was,
it's so dark and morbid.
Yeah, like I just couldn't believe what I was watching, and the fact that you had this guy impaled by what basically is a cross, or a piece of wood, of course, but you know what they're trying to allude to. And then you throw him. He attaches himself to the other car, yells "Repent!" and explodes. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So this is
what it's about.
This is what it's about. I think it was the fact that they went that far. It's almost like what Mortal Kombat does or did.
For sure.
Like. It is, of course, a way to try to shock you and make you really want to see what happens next or how dark they actually go. And I really love the fact that the stories were just as dark and like the world they built, like everything kind of fit together. Like the stories were just as dark as the characters. And even the good characters had like really sad stories. I mean, Outlaw is technically a good guy, but he's. I mean, I don't know if I should spoil it for people who haven't played it, but he basically kills an innocent person, even though he's a cop, trying to get to another to a bad guy, which then you know that is or you find out that is Outlaw. No, Outlaw. No, I mean, what was his name?
um,
It was one of the
I remember.
characters too. He was actually one of the ones that appeared in the previous Twisted Metals. I
Okay.
forget his name. I know it was a car, like a normal car. It wasn't like a van or something.
Yeah.
Um, it's not Roadkill, is it? No, I don't know. But anyway, the point was that it was another one of the characters who was a bad guy, and his whole story was about him basically going nuts for doing that, for killing that innocent person. And I really enjoyed the fact that I think the voice work was really interesting in those
Oh yeah.
cutscenes and just
Of Calypso.
yeah, and Calypso, like they in previous iterations he was always kind of like this evil dude that created the system metal thing, but in this one I don't know, he seemed like he actually like you could take him seriously in this iteration, like he actually had a lot of power and wasn't just saying it. uh I don't know, at least for me he felt a little bit more intimidating. uh
Yeah.
and I don't know, I just really like the I think I like the commitment to the dark like world that they created.
Aesthetics. Yeah.
Yeah, and how everything kind of came together for that. And I don't know, I wish I could create something like that. Like to commit to that extent. um
Yep. And we can't ever forget the song, the intro song
yeah, I mean,
of Rolling Stone song.
yeah, and it fits so well. I mean, it's like
It
it was
did.
the perfect song for what they were going for. I don't know, I remember both the beginning of the game that they only played like
Yeah.
the first part of the song,
Exactly.
and then
But for the credits.
yeah, and you see all the all the cutscenes, and it basically
Yeah.
edited to seem to go with the music, that which was really
Yeah.
interesting. uh I think that was it wasn't the first time I heard the song, but it was the first, like the moment I fell in love with it, playing Twisted Metal Black. uh like I really, like, after that I just wanted to listen to it every time I played the game, and then after
Yeah.
in any place afterwards. I I don't know. Yeah, definitely that's something that I will always remember. What was something that you remember of the game, apart from the things that we've just said?
Um, Apart from that, I also like the environmental attacks and also how some cases you can interact with the environment. Like I believe it was the first level where you can shoot down the airplane and
Oh yeah,
it would unlock like another entrance, another pathway to go through. I thought that was really cool how interacting with other objects of the environment, it changes the level and how you go about it as well.
yeah. I don't actually remember, but did that exist in the previous Twisted Metals?
Um, Not that I recall them. Maybe I just like never looked for it or never tried anything
Yeah,
that drastic.
yeah.
But I don't know. But also the other level where you start off on a boat and then eventually it lands
Oh
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
opens
yeah.
up to a much larger level. That part was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think that the world felt alive as well.
Yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
expanding, or you could use it somehow. I will always remember that in the first level you could get the environmental weapon, and
Yeah.
then like the plane thing that was there, it started shooting everybody around.
Oh yeah, I was shoot.
Yeah, and that was basically my tactic to win the first, the first level. Like it was always to get that and just start destroying. Oh, also, I have to point out that the game is really difficult against the AI if you don't know what you're doing. So I always really enjoyed the fact that it never, like, at least for me, I don't know if it was easy for you, but at least for me, it was always challenging. Like
No,
every
yeah.
time,
It was like the perfect amount of challenging, as a matter of
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
They did a really great job with the AI.
Like the and I guess it never felt cheap. Like it always felt like they were actually doing the same things that you were trying to do. So I don't know. I always remember that when I was gonna play, and even against the AI, like I always had to bring on my A game if it was possible, because if I was kind of slacking off, they were gonna destroy me. And I don't know. I really admire that how good the AI was for those levels. I don't know. I really like, that's something I really remember about it. Like I actually played the game with my girlfriend, and I remember that I told her it's hard. Like the first level, we're gonna lose a couple of times because uh, I mean, you share lives. So if she died uh, like many times, then we both died, and she was learning.
Yeah.
And again, the game doesn't give you a tutorial, at least as far as I remember. So it's kind of figure it out. But once she
Yeah.
did, so, I mean, it was like playing alongside someone in that game is awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah, the co-op mode,
Yeah.
they did really well.
I'm looking here, looking in Google, which was the character that I missed.
I think it was Roadkill, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I,
that's what I. Yeah.
John Doe.
Yes, if it's John Doe, yes, it's that character.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting because that's something that I don't know if the previous Twisted Metals did, but like the character stories kind of intertwine in many cases. Like I really like the idea of the preacher being the one that put the curse on Sweet Tooth, and then the whole like Roadkill and Outlaw. I don't think Darkseid had anything to do with the. I mean, of course, there were self-contained stories, but I'm not quite sure. But I really like the fact that the stories were in some way tied, and you kind of had to figure it out by playing as each one of them. Like that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just guess that after playing the previous Twisted Metals, when I started playing Twisted Metal Black, seeing all this like really interesting and characters that I liked previously, and seeing their dark interpretations was just really awesome. I don't know, it was really interesting to watch and see how they explain everything and how everything happened. Minion, I always like when Minion pops up. Uh,
Yeah.
it's like always really
Definitely.
interesting. And again, I think that the part that really just made me love the game uh, was just the stories. Honestly, like going through each story and seeing how it developed and see how these
Yeah.
they just went crazy, and also the resolution, like what happened when they actually. I mean that's a
Win the contest.
staple. Yeah. I mean that's a staple of Twisted Metal, which is that good guys always kind of lose and the bad guys win in the end, which also happens in this one. But it was always interesting to see how or why it happened. Like I always remember that Sweet Tooth wanted to take the curse off, but when he won,
Yeah.
he just really wanted to kill Calypso. And so his wish
Yeah.
then changed to I want to kill you. Which I don't know, it's just so rewarding to me that the fact that like it will make sense like that he will do that because of how crazy he is.
Yeah.
In the case of Outlaw, he tries to save the child he killed, but then Roadkill kills him, and he basically dies.
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, he kind of got what he wanted, but then he died for it. Mr. Grimm, I think that his point is to. I mean, his story was that he was a cannibal, right?
He was not locked up, but he was thrown into a hole with his best friend, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a fellow soldier.
Okay.
And then he was left to like just survive there, and eventually he had to kill and eat his friend or partner. So then he wanted revenge, if I'm not mistaken, against whoever did that to him, whoever made him do that.
I think, but I think that at the end his wish is to eat the guy, right?
Yeah. It was to eat him.
Which is, I mean,
pretty
it's like
hardcore.
yeah. I mean, Crazy 8, I think, was the one that he was a boxer, right? And then they made an operation on him, and they just kind of
They sewed his eyes shut.
Yeah, they basically closed his eyes and his mouth, and he just couldn't. I mean, it's just so weird, and just dark, and yeah. But I don't actually remember what happened with him in his ending. But again, it was just so interesting to watch what they wanted to do, and how it developed as it went on. Like sometimes you saw that maybe they were gonna redeem themselves, but in the end, they just went back to being really vengeful and just wanted revenge in that sense.
Exactly.
I don't know. It was always like I think playing through their stories was always really interesting, and that's something I remember about the game. I don't know. I think that's something that always felt really awesome to me. Like the whole, like the car that they had and the way they behaved and all that, how they were dressed. It all added to the characters. Like it wasn't just random and that was it. Like oh, he just looks cool. There was a point to why they were using the car that they were using, and I don't know. It always felt like attention to detail,
to their personality or their story.
Yeah. Like way more
great attention to detail.
Yeah, like much more than in previous iterations. At least in like for me, I don't know. I really like that attention to detail that they gave every single character. Of course, there are things that are not necessarily like earned. Like where did Sweet Tooth learn how to make a transformer type vehicle and just basically have a robot to destroy the other cars. Like, of course, that's stupid, but it was just fun. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I really like the fact that they were all in the asylum. And it was always like going there and I like that. I mean, it's something like really specific, but I really love the fact that each time you started their stories, like the same shot of going to the asylum was like you saw that all the time, like the same shot. But the way and the music that surrounded that shot kind of already gives you like an idea of what type of character you're going to be dealing with.
Exactly.
And I just love that just attention to detail, like everything informs the characters, like they felt like actual people in that sense. like that's something that I've always wanted to emulate. Whenever I'm creating games or whenever I see someone creating games, I really love the fact that they just make everything kind of be as true to the character as possible, and I really care about the character. I feel like this game did that very
Yeah,
effectively.
definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is still my favorite Twisted Metal. I played the previous ones and this one. I mean, and the next one that kind of tried to do the same thing, but I think they just. I really like the fact that this game had the characters and the vehicles weren't just like tools; they were part of the characters.
Yeah.
So I really like the fact that you got to really get involved with them in that sense. As you said, I really love the environments and just everything that was going on uh, in those environments. I actually
Yeah.
I don't know if I love the ending boss, like the helicopter. I
The
thought
helicopter. Yeah, it was so like sometimes it was also hard to like hit him,
yeah,
depending on which character you picked.
yeah,
With Sweet Tooth, for example, he just shoots missiles that uh, follow the target, so it's much simpler. But
like that's one of the things that I think that maybe could have changed or could be different. But apart from that, honestly, I think the rest of the game I really enjoyed. Uh, I don't know, man. I really there's something about that game. I don't know why. I think it was the fact that before that game, I never played a game that was so dark. Like I actually never. I mean, I played Mortal Kombat, but I never really played it for a long time. Like it was always like
yeah,
either in the arcades or when I went to a friend's house. Like I never
yeah,
had
for
it.
sure.
So I never had that exposure maybe to and again I think Mortal Kombat in a way is kind of it is dark, but I think it's kind of I mean recently it's gotten darker. But before it was kind of cartoony in a way.
Yeah,
Like the
definitely.
like we exploded someone or did a fatality, like a million hands will pop off or a million heads, and
Yeah,
and it was kind of oh yeah, like you could laugh at that dark in this. Like this was the first game that I think took the dark seriously in a way,
yeah,
and I think that's kind of opened my eyes to so many possibilities of just stories and what games could provide or let you see. And of course, this is not the first game that did that. Of course, like there are
exactly.
many other games that probably do it and do it better. But this was for me my first game that I experienced that basically delivered this kind of experience. Uh, I think that's why it stays with me or is so relevant to me even today. Like I could play Twisted Metal Black like honestly at any point and I will still enjoy it. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like a really well thought out game and just
Overall, the game is was pretty amazing in terms of the gameplay mechanics, how well thought each character were, their stories, the overall aesthetics of the game, all tied well together. The level designs were amazing,
yeah.
so that was pretty interesting. And yeah,
This is one of those
it's
games that I think
still
that
one of those games that you can play. Yeah, that you can play
yeah.
to this day.
I don't know
Hmm.
how the reception was for the game. I think it was mainly positive, right?
Oh yeah, definitely got great reviews if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I just think it was a really bold idea, of course, but because I'm pretty sure that they didn't do this, or maybe they did. I'm not quite sure if they did it knowing that it will like trying to cause commotion with the game. Like
Yeah,
it's so dark, so you should play it. But of course, I'm pretty sure that like I don't know if it actually like they did it specifically for that, or they just wanted to make it this dark and see what happened. Maybe a little bit of both. Uh,
Yeah.
but anyway, I think it was still a bold move. Previous iterations were always kind of cartoony,
Yeah.
and they kind of went really serious with this one. And I think it kind of, I don't know. I think this is the best the series has felt. I don't know, to me, like it fits so well with what the characters were about. That I think that like all System Metal should be maybe like this in some way. I don't know. I really love the whole concept. I wish they made a
Yeah,
movie out of it. It would be awesome.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
And there's no need to like purchase any DLC or anything that unlockable content
true.
just within the game, and
Yeah.
they applied that pretty well.
Now,
Made you want to keep playing until you unlock everything
yeah, definitely.
and play through all the stories.
Yeah, and I always want to, I don't know, to have everybody in there, like every other character, and just see
Yeah.
what their story will be in it. Like I imagine there's a car. I don't know if you remember from previous games, but it was called the Jonases, and it was
No, I
literally a
don't
car of a family. Like the car was like the dad, the mom, and the two children, and they were competing in the Twisted Metal world, and their story was that they were looking for thrills, like new a new vacation or something, and this was the thing that they chose to do as a family. Like I always imagined what it will be like what will be their story in this
That'd been fun.
System of the Black
to
world.
implement it.
Yeah. And just anybody, honestly, from the previous games. There was a guy called Moon Boogie, or a car called Moon Boogie in the previous games. Like, throw him in there and just give him a really sad story for a guy called Moon Boogie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kept me wanting more. You know, like I wanted to see everybody's
that's for
story
sure.
in this world. Maybe in the remaster. We don't know. Hopefully they do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. Like that's one of the games that I will always kind of like when I'm trying to create something like dark. I always want to kind of make sure.
Emulate the feel.
Yeah, like it makes me feel like that game made me feel.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It wasn't a horror game either. It was just dark.
No.
It was just a dark game. It was disturbing more than anything.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of also like you don't have to do horror to be dark. You can do what this game did and still be fun, like fun to play and fun to interact with, but still like feel like you're part of this world. And I think that's like the whole world building without necessarily having to have like really big cutscenes at every step of the way. Just specific moments that gave you more information about the characters. I think that they just did that so well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which also, because if the story was like really long, maybe not, like you wouldn't be as interested in playing as every single character, because then you will have to spend a lot of time with each one of them. In this case, I think it was the perfect amount of time from just know the story, know what you're trying to achieve, gameplay, and just go nuts with them.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know. I like it when you can do so much with so little. I think this game did that perfectly. I know I could sing praises about the game. I think it's a really well made game. In all honesty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just wish I had more. Honestly, I as I said, I just want I just want them to bring everybody back. I want to play as Calypso and see what he's all about. yeah, I mean that's kind of everything I can say about the game right now. Is there any particular thing that you remember about the game, like specific fight that you had, or something that happened in the game that you remember?
Like I remember like fighting against minion. Well, at least like when I would play with a friend, fighting against minion was pretty fun. It was really challenging doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Also, there was this one level, I forgot the name of it. There was like, it was essentially um, like around the mountains, and then there's like a cliff to the side. And yeah, every now and then I would fall off the cliff and that would cause us to lose a life, but
Yeah.
it was still fun, really. I love the fast paced action of the game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
You
definitely.
could never like just sit still for a moment. You just had to keep going,
Yeah,
find the
yeah.
next weapon to use.
And I will always remember the Ferris wheel that you could use as an environment.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
could just make it go and destroy
Roll down the
things.
hill.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. It just felt really like I think that's part of it. Like apart from the story and all the stuff, like the fact that they're fighting in populated places told you all that you need to know about how just crazy this tournament is. And you can destroy houses, you can destroy buildings, you can destroy a Ferris wheel, and
Yeah,
use it as a weapon. Uh, I know it felt like you were actually just destroying these environments, and of course, it's not realistic, but as real as the game could potentially be. I think that also adds to the world building that I was talking about, right? And how this tournament goes, and you see people running around, you can just uh, kill them too. I mean, it's just dark. It's just a dark game, honestly.
yeah,
But I don't know. I think that they really did a good job with the places you were fighting in, and and what you could do in them. Again, to me, I will
yeah.
always remember
That's for sure.
the first stage because I spent most of my time in the first stage just learning the ropes and getting accustomed to it. Uh, but
Yeah, I
but
was always
yeah,
like thinking like, what if I shoot this? Like, what would happen?
yeah, definitely. No, and also like this is the game that made me always worry about hearing like a ice cream truck when I'm like I always remember like having low life, right? And you know that when you had low life, you start hearing like the like
Yeah,
the warning. I was like, okay, I
yeah.
need to get health
Need to find help.
somewhere, and then I heard and I was like, oh no, turbo, 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 and trying to find it before because you knew that Street 2 what was there, and he just kind of went crazy when he was near you.
That's for sure.
Uh, that and just hearing the screams of the repent guys when you were going around like "Roar!" Yeah, like that was
Yes,
always like you knew things
that's a bit
like
touch.
shit was going on. uh, I don't know. I think those sound cues were also really interesting. Like
Yeah,
each character you knew, like the whole meh, meh from Dark Side was also you knew that she was going somewhere and doing something.
exactly.
Again, it's just that it just felt in this world, and I think that's something that very few games that I've played have managed to do.
Hmm.
And the fact that this game did it about cars destroying each other is just like they went a step further than what I thought they would have done. I think it paid off. Like it's really a marvel, honestly, to me.
Yeah, it was drastically different from its predecessors. Although like 3 and 4 were developed by another studio, 939 Studio, I think.
Okay.
So it was good, like having Incog back in the front wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it showed that they really knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I think that the only thing I could conclude with is that I want more. I want more from this. I want the remaster with all the characters or new characters for that matter with Genesis.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of how they're gonna explain this family doing these things. I don't know. It was really awesome, and I played it like last year, and it
Yeah.
was just as fun as it is now. Actually, I think it was even more fun than most of the card games that I've played recently. I don't know. It's just, to me, it will stand the test of time in that sense. The only thing that will potentially be
sure.
like detrimental to it will be the graphics, because, as I said, they are kind of dated. I mean, it was made for the PS2, so
Yep.
so those are the kind of graphics that you're gonna find. Again, I just think that remaster will be so sweet, and with good multiplayer. I don't know. I just imagine being able to play that game with awesome graphics, the same characters, the same sounds, just with more stages. I don't know. It will be. I don't know. It will be awesome, honestly. But yeah, man. Thank you for talking to me about the game and to explain why you like it and you love it. Yeah, I don't know. It was just an excuse, honestly. I just really wanted to talk about it for a long time. I just really want to play it. Like when talking about it, and I just want to tell you, hey man, just go play. And see, and just beat it again.
Go through the stories again.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Twisted Metal Black. That's why we love it. If you love it too, and there are things that you remember about the game, put it in the comments below. We'll read through them, and we're probably gonna be like, yes, that was awesome. Things that we don't remember right now. But yeah, hopefully for those of you who didn't understand why the game was popular or why people liked it, maybe through what we're saying, now you do know why we love it, which is the point of the program. Carlo, thank you for coming and talking to me.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to plug or something that you want people to find you in or something?
No, not at the moment. But if you haven't played Twisted Metal Black, you should give it a try. It's definitely.
I think that sadly right now it's only
good experience.
On PS3, right? Like it's the only place where you can get it.
PS3. I think they have it as digital download on PS4 as well.
Yes. Well.
Yeah.
If it's there, yeah, definitely get it there. I just remember that I downloaded it in the PS3, so maybe I'm just behind in that sense. But yeah, if you can get it, play it. Honestly, it's gonna be a fun time. Again, it's gonna be difficult at first. It's not gonna like the first level is like they will kill you. They will be relentless. But once you get the gist of how it works and the movement, all the stuff, you're gonna have a good time. But definitely give it a shot. But yeah, that's it for the first episode of What We Love. Please let us know in the comments why you love the game, and let us know what game you would like us to talk about, because we'll probably consider it and we'll talk about it. Honestly, talking about why we love games is something that I really like to do at any point if I can. So anyway, thank you for listening to us, and we'll see you later.
All right. Good day.